What's up, everybody? How's it going? This is Kynkie. I'm here with Raddedd today, and we're going to be doing another Over the Beer. Today, our topic is going to be PlayerUnknown's Battleground, and whether or not we feel like it's ready to be released, and the different features and bugs and stuff like that, just general problems we have with the game. Without further ado, let's just start talking about it. The first thing we want to talk about was the loot spawn rates. You can get some pretty good loot sometimes, you can get some pretty crappy loot sometimes. It's really a crapshoot, just like Blue Circle too. Raddedd, how do you feel about the loot spawn rates?
Well, the first thing that I wanted to bring up is that this series is called Over a Beer, not Over the Beer. There is more than one. There is more than one beer.
Should we start over?
Hell no, this is going in. So the loot spawn rates, it's so hit or miss, and I feel like the game actually really forces people down funnels, which it doesn't force you down funnels, but if you go anywhere other than a few places, you're not going to get enough loot fast enough to really compete unless you get, and this is going to be a recurring theme, lucky. I feel like the game is somewhere between 50 and 75% luck, and I really don't think that's going to be conducive to a game that lasts a long time. And the game is massively popular right now because it does a few things really, really well, and it's done a hell of a lot for the realm that it's in. But unless it fixes that luck factor, they're gonna see people dropping off as the game's life progresses, and loot spawn rates is one of those issues for that reason, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty fair point there. Luck is a big factor in most parts of this game, just like the next thing we were going to talk about, the blue circle of death that will ultimately slowly kill you and fastly kill you later in the game. I mean, I don't think there's much more to say about that one because it's pretty much the same issue.
I mean, kind of. I don't think it gives enough incentive to players to group up in one spot. Like that, and that was really what the game did well for the genre, I think. And it was creating this context in which you could have a match-based game within this totally open world game. And the Blue Circle really does that, except for that very quickly you learn it really doesn't. I don't know how many times we just take the damage from the Blue Circle because it doesn't really matter. I mean, really,
yeah, especially early game. Like the first circle, first two circles even. I mean, if you got a couple boosters and a couple first aid kits, I mean, just go kill somebody once you get out of the circle with your amazing gear and take their healing items.
Yeah, even later game though. Like the name of the game is those who ride the blue circle win the game, and I think that is kind of counterintuitive. The circle should move faster. First off, it should get people caught in that circle. If you're not in the white, like you, and you're like in the blue, you should be taking way more damage even early on. These matches, like the match cycle needs to be faster. You need to have harsher punishments for not following that gameplay dynamic. You know, otherwise you're just gonna have people quote unquote breaking the rules, though it's really not. But you're essentially incentivizing people not to play this game in accordance with that gameplay mechanic, and I don't think it's conducive to a fair game. I really don't.
Do you think that though just increasing the damage that the circle would do you think it would actually fix the problem, or do you think you would actually just get less people to play the game, because at that point you're just putting more people in a smaller area with less loot to distribute between all those players?
Well, I mean, will there be less people that play the game? I don't know, maybe. I would also increase the speed of that circle too, personally. It's a question of whether or not the gameplay dynamic is working effectively, or is it broken? And if it's broken, it doesn't matter if less people will play the game. The gameplay dynamic is broken. You know, the math doesn't work out well, so it doesn't matter if it's gonna make less people play the game. If the game isn't working well to begin with, you're gonna also have people dropping off, so you may as well fix it.
Yeah, I think the only way that they can really fix that though is by just having smaller maps. I feel like the map is just too big for how small of an area the end of the game is. Like it's too drastic of a difference from the starting size of the circle to the ending size of the circle. And I get that the ending size needs to be that small because, I mean, who wants to sit in a game for 5 hours trying to snipe out each other? I mean, that'd just be freaking boring.
Well, yeah, and that comes down to some other balancing issues between the different firearms. I mean, I don't know if you fired an AKM in real life, or AK-47 rather. It's a really hefty firearm, and it handles most of its own recoil. There's a reason why you see people firing that firearm from the hip in a lot of war photos and videos. It's because the firearm handles most of its own recoil. But I'm sure any of you who are watching who have used the AKM know that it is notoriously bad for recoil, and that's just
at least
not
right now
realistic.
it is. Right now it is. It used to not be that bad.
Right. Wasn't this game supposed to be like the next Arma in terms of its gunplay?
Yeah, it was based off of an Arma 2 mod, I believe. That Arma 2 mod essentially is this game.
Right. So the gunplay is not realistic, and maybe that's intentional, maybe it's not. But part of what sold me on this game personally was that it was going to be realistic gunplay, and I'm very well versed in firearms in real life. I know how to fire different kinds of firearms and rifles and pistols, and this game just does not do a very good job of it in general. But I guess that would lead into your next point, right? Yeah,
well, one of the next points was we wanted to talk about updates and specifically about the weapons. A lot of the updates that they've done to weapons, we mentioned that they changed the recoil on the AKM. They also like to introduce new weapons, and I'm fine with that, and I know that it's not the same people working on the weapons that would be fixing the bugs, but personally I wish that they would work on fixing and optimizing the game over introducing new weapons and cosmetic type things. Because I mean, really that's all a weapon is, right? Is a cosmetic change and they're changing the stats on it.
Yeah, kind of. I guess those are kind of 2 points in one. There's the weapons themselves, and then there's bugs in general, so I guess I'll jump into both of those. Like, there's definitely a lot of issues that I've noticed with the guns, particularly when it comes to firing
shotguns
from the hip. Shotguns, yeah. I mean, there's issues with the guns. I've noticed a lot of issues with iron sights, actually. Not as much when you have some sort of like red dot on your firearm, but when you're firing from iron sights, it feels like I'm playing Counter-Strike. Like the bullet's coming out of my barrel at an angle. And that's just so arcadey. I mean, for what's quote-unquote an Arma mod, their gunplay is just an arcadey version of what firearms actually do. And I consider that a bug, as someone who came here looking for good gunplay.
Especially for a game that, like, the sound in this game is, like, in terms of where the bullet direction and stuff like that, scientifically, it's actually pretty damn accurate.
It does that really well, you're right.
Did you have anything else to add on the bugs end? I know that there are a lot of bugs in this.
Plenty.
should we just say that there are a lot of bugs in this game, and
like,
we want them to fix it all before they actually release the game?
Let's just list a few of them off. Like, you've got the
when I drop a grenade on you.
Oh yeah, if you are holding a grenade.
Well, this could have been fixed, but I mean, this was a bug at one point.
We actually have
a clip to prove it. We have a clip to prove it. If you don't believe us,
we'll put that in here. We'll find that clip and we'll put that in here.
Yeah. So what happened was, Raddedd and I were playing a game. I got knocked down, and he was going to pick us up. Then we got a flash grenade, and couldn't see. Hilarity ensued. They came around, killed me. Didn't kill Raddedd for some bizarre reason, and they ran away. And then a couple seconds later, boom, my grenade goes off and kills Raddedd. And it was like a good 30-40 seconds after I got knocked.
Oh, so, easy. And that's just, that's just clearly one of many bugs like that we found.
4 times scope.
There's obvious physics bugs in literally every aspect of the game.
But
like,
dude, the car physics are amazing.
They're so good. They're so realistic. I mean, where the fuck is vaulting? I know that's supposed to be in 1.0, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like,
well, no, they have vaulting in the PTR now. The vaulting actually didn't feel too horrible. I mean, you could definitely tell that it was an early iteration of what they wanted it to be. But I mean, at least it was something, and showing that, hey, we're not just working on adding spray tags to buildings and adding weapons. We're actually working on mechanics.
That was so silly. Ads for themselves in the game.
Yeah, gee whiz. Oh my god. They've also added a kill cam in PTR, which is nice. Yeah, it's nice to see where people kill you from, especially when you have no idea where they came from, because you just get insta-killed with a headshot. It's just like, okay, how did I play this wrong? I'm hiding behind a hill, I'm on the edge of the blue, how did I die? And then now you can actually see how you died and where you can better your gameplay. So I really, really, really like that feature. They also updated the UI a bunch. It looks a lot nicer. They moved things around, so it was a bit disorienting at first to figure out where things were. They also changed a lot of the sounds for vehicles and stuff. And the red zone, they actually changed the red zone. Now you have, instead of just explosions, you have the sound of like a missile actually falling towards the ground. That whole pew.
Oh god.
Like you have all of that now too. And like there's even a delay between the end of the sound clip for the missile falling and the explosion like you would have in real life. That was really cool too. But that's all in PTR. That's in the 1.0 build, which is on the PTR right now. So I'm hoping that those things all make it in. The card sound changes were, I was indifferent about them. And the dossier sounds like a piece of crap now, but that might not be our go-to vehicle anymore. It doesn't sound too quiet.
Ooh.
But so the next thing I wanted to talk with you about was maps. And right now on the PTR, they have their second map on the PTR. I really want to get in there and play some games and try that out a bit. It's cool to see that they're actually working on new maps, because I could tell, even though I just said in our last Over a Beer that I feel like I haven't played the same game twice, when you're playing in the same map over and over and over, and you're constantly dropping to the same 5 locations over and over and over, I could see where it would start to get, like, you would start just to feel, okay, I'm doing the same thing, just going through the motions type deal. So it was good to see that they're introducing a new map.
Why are there only a few locations where you're actually going to find things? Why are there areas where it's so open that if you get caught in them, like, not only can you not run through them, but, like, there's just no loot there in general. It seems like the map design itself was just not very well thought out. You know, the person who happens to get lucky and find the ridge as they're walking toward the white circle is the person who wins. It's not very well thought out. And I think that the game could have taken more cues from successful multiplayer maps in other shooters, even like Battlefield. Battlefield would have been a great game to draw inspiration from, because...
sorry to interrupt you, but did games like Battlefield have 100 people playing on a solo queue game where it's just every man for himself? It seems like the issue is that they were just going for too many people.
I mean, there's a little bit of that, I think, but first off, yes, Battlefield had games of that scale, but it was usually team-based.
And not four-player teams, I'm sure.
Right,
I'm sure it was much bigger than just 4 people.
Yeah, they were like 32 versus 32. That wasn't really what I was getting at, because the firefights in those teams were never 32 versus 32. They were...
Oh, I'm sure.
They were 8v8 or 4v4, fairly similar to what you would get in this game. But they definitely did the map design a lot better in those games. Now, granted, each individual map is smaller in Battlefield, but PlayerUnknown really did not think about how those engagements are actually going to take place. It seemed like they wanted to tune the maps more towards you getting a car and then going to a place. Yeah. that doesn't really happen because the car spawn rate is just so erratic and unpredictable.
Yeah, one map you can find 5 cars all next to each other. The next game you won't find a single car within 100 kilometers.
Oh, yeah. And lo and behold, it all comes down to, did you get lucky or not? And again, that's the game's biggest problem right now. And if they don't fix it, they're going to have players like me, frankly, dropping off for that reason. If they don't fix that, I won't stay with the game forever.
So more on maps is kind of talking about some mods that I want to talk about. I know that there are already teams of people that are getting ready to create mods for this game. And one of them that I heard was a World War II mod. And obviously would use a different type of map, and like you were saying with Battlefield, it would be just a like 50 on 50 instead of a 100 free-for-all or a 104 group free-for-all, or however you want to say that. How do you think those are going to be receptive by the community? Do you think they're going to be good releases?
Well, did Counter-Strike succeed because of its core gameplay, or did it succeed because of its vast mod community? Same thing with Half-Life 2 Deathmatch. Yeah, any of these other shooters, these companies, they'll give you this core gameplay system, and then they'll say, go make your own, change it however you want. And like, I think it's going to be, because of the scale of this game at this point, it's going to be a little bit like Minecraft, where there's going to be tons and tons of different ways to play the game. You're going to see RPG mods, where it's literally like a Destiny type of thing that somebody made. You're gonna see somebody turn the game into more of a DayZ type of experience, where they take away some of the mechanics. This is where the game is going to shine, in my opinion. You know, somebody is gonna take all of these ideas that we've have all of the same ideas, and go in and create a better version of the core experience.
Right.
And that's probably where I'll play. And I'll be checking out all of the different mods that come out. I'm more than excited for that aspect of this game.
I think the mods are going to be a great place for this game.
The modding is going to take this game to the next level. The core gameplay has issues. It clearly does. We've outlined quite a few of them here that I don't think are going to be fixed for 1.0. And I think we can say with confidence that the mod community is going to make this game what we actually want.
So that brings me to the last point. Do you think it's going to be ready for 1.0 when they actually release it, or do you
is
think
the game going to be ready? No, it's gonna be as buggy as it is now.
I'm kind of hopeful that at least the majority of the bugs are going to be out. Is it going to be ready? Hell no. I think vaulting is still way too early. Like, I don't understand how they test things for this game. From what I understand is they just throw it up on the PTR for a couple of days, wait to see what happens, and then they just push it to live anyways. It seems like they're finally not doing that. Like, these past couple updates, they haven't pushed to live yet. But, I mean, you can be hopeful, right?
Well, we can be hopeful, but it's still going to be buggy. The game is still going to have gameplay balance issues. There's still going to be problems with luck. And that is really what I think it comes down to, is that the game is 50 to 75% luck, somewhere in there, and we're going to have to wait for the mods in order for that to be fixed, even at 1.0.
By the way, I don't think I ever said this throughout the course of this video, but I don't have an issue with the luck problem. I mean, the blue circle, I don't have a problem with that. The loot spawning rates, that can go screw itself. That can bug me sometimes. But I typically don't have a problem with the randomness and the luck aspect of the game. I actually kind of like it, because it lets people like myself who suck at first-person shooters have a chance to actually win a match. So, I'm not as bad as some people, but I'm not by any means a good first-person shooter player. So. But yeah, I kind of like it because it lets crappy players like myself have a chance to win. But
well, there you go. It all comes down to preference. I guess we could.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're wrong, Raddedd.
We could probably end it on that note.
No, your opinion is wrong. Okay. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a pleasure to talk with you guys. I'm Kynkie. That's Raddedd. and we'll see you all in the next one.
Cheerio!
Hey everybody, this is Kynkie. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and drop a comment below. If you want to see more awesome content like this in the future, make sure you follow and subscribe to us on YouTube, VidMe, and Twitch. We drop multiple videos every week to keep you guys satisfied. Until next time guys, peace.